Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another fantastic episode of The Left Wing. I am TJ Whitehead, powers taken, not given, joined as always by President James Monroe superfan John Cooper Paz of Counterpoint Politics. How are you doing today, my friend? This is a good week for you, I gotta say.
A good week for me in what way, TJ?
In that you were the only person I know who has consistently brought up the Monroe Doctrine several times a year. And look at that. It's the Monroe Doctrine is back. I gotta say, it's back in fashion now.
It's like every time there's some news article for example, like Hilton saying, "Oh, we're not going to let the ICE agents in" or whatever, and and there's like an old Onion article that gets shared. It's like Third Amendment advocacy group celebrates 300th successful year of implementation. Like it's just like that. It's just like you're just this niche subject. First of all, in case anyone's wondering, we are back for the left wing. We're back from our holiday break. I, however, am at my parents' house. I'm the one traveling with shitty AV today instead of TJ because my wife had a minor surgery. Everything went well, but she can't really walk well. So my parents have a first or multi-floor home. I live on a second floor apartment building. So that is why I'm here. We'll probably be here Thursday as well. And that is also why you're just seeing the classic version of the StreamYard's graphics package, as opposed to the one that is usually set up nicely on my desktop. But anyway, yeah, Monroe Doctrine. TJ, it's always been something that fascinated me from the moment I learned about it. Because I learned Monroe Doctrine in like high school. You know, like this is like a thing that you learn. And I remember just being like, what? Why did you just describe what the Monroe Doctrine was as if it wasn't the most batshit crazy thing you've taught all year? But were we not live, TJ? Because I just saw the live button go.
No, we've been live. Yeah,
Okay,
we've been live for
whatever.
2 minutes and 6 seconds. Yeah.
Okay, good. Mine says 10 seconds, so I'm just making sure.
What the hell is going on? Oh no.
It's a weird day, folks. It's a weird day. I don't even have like the normal setup here. I can't see everything the same. It's very, very, very confusing for me.
Yeah.
But yeah, Monroe Doctrine is just like, so you're telling me we just say everything in this entire hemisphere, these two continents, that's ours. No other country is allowed to establish any military presence. If you even think about talking to one of these countries about establishing military presence, we can legally kill you. And that is our doctrine. That is what we're saying. And no one questions it, TJ. And most people don't know about it. But the people that do don't even seem to question it when they talk about it. And it's always like, I feel like I'm just speaking a different language to people.
Does no one question it, or does everyone question it and then just kind of let it go? Because that's exactly what John just said. That happened to me too. Same story. I'm sitting there in eighth grade, U.S. history class or whatever, and they say, "Hey, James Monroe, he implemented the Monroe Doctrine." Well, what's that? Oh, that's stating ownership of the Western Hemisphere to the United States of America, and that European powers can't do any more colonialism there. Only we can do that. We take care of
Yep.
stuff. And I remember asking, oh, so what was the enforcement mechanism for this? Oh, there wasn't one. And think about when this happened. The Monroe Doctrine was what, like 1820 or something like that?
Yeah.
We did not have the juice to back up. We couldn't cash those checks, right? And we're saying, yeah, we're big back. Now we can do it. But back then, it was even more insane. And then there was a Roosevelt corollary to the Monroe Doctrine. I remember learning that too. And like Teddy Roosevelt said, "Oh yeah, I'm implementing the Monroe Doctrine again." And now I don't know if you guys saw that ridiculous cartoon that was posted with the Don Roe Doctrine with Donald Trump holding a baseball bat over the Western Hemisphere and everything. I also realized too, I don't have the vertical presentation for us either. I didn't see the option when I logged in.
Oh,
Man,
wow.
yeah,
We're really
we're so
slacking
rusty.
this week,
I
TJ. We're
may
back.
we're
People are like, you took 2 weeks off. We're finally back, and it's this shit. We apologize to our audience,
This is
really,
yeah.
but also send us money if you want things to get better.
Yes. Yeah, it is funny. It is but yeah, I guess the reason we're talking about the Monroe Doctrine in the first place is I think this, like, speaking of shared experiences with the Monroe Doctrine, I can't remember what day it was. It was Sunday, Monday or whatever. And Saturday I woke up. I was just, still off for New Year's break and everything. I'm just scrolling through my phone and I see this picture of Nicolas Maduro in handcuffs and headphones and a blindfold. and it said the United States military has captured Venezuela President Nicolas Maduro. I was not ready for that. I said, what? And I said, that can't be right. And sure enough, it just happened. It was just a thing. And I've seen a few videos. Desmond actually did a video on this. And he said, you know, I'm starting to lose faith in the United States, not the government or its institutions. I've always kind of doubted that, but the people themselves, I'm losing faith in, because we just had the United States military go to a different continent, drop bombs in a population, kidnap an elected president of this nation, and bring it back home. And people just going about their daily lives because no one cares. And I was angry because I agreed with Desmond for like 10 seconds. And then I thought, you know what? I don't care either. I gotta say, I don't. Because I saw that and I said, that's insane. But of course that would happen. Of course. Why not? Why the fuck not? And yeah, it's what were your thoughts when you ran across this?
So it was first of all, again, want to just say to everyone watching right now, particularly Colby, wonderful comments. We will get to them. There's a particular comment from Colby I just have to address
Yeah.
here, but we will get to them just because we have so much catch up to do here. And as we've been saying on this show for the past like 2 months, hey, we're gonna push off our Venezuela segment because that's gonna be a thing we won't stop talking about for a solid month. And here we are, TJ. We're at the Venezuela part where we did we invaded Venezuela. Let's not mince words here. Like I understand that seems to imply like a full scale military rollout, and it does. But we did we put boots on the ground in Venezuela. We bombed them, and we stole their head of state. And you're right. I also I'm just like, I'm more upset about what people are saying about it than the fact that it happened, because I kind of see the argument. I mean, I don't see the argument. Like, I'm not going to lose sleep over Nicolas Maduro. That doesn't bother me. I haven't seen if we killed anyone, which is odd. I'd be upset if we killed anyone, any civilians in this operation. But like, it's not that big a deal. Like, at the end of the day, the thing that really does concern me, though, is the rhetoric being used around it, because that same rhetoric could very easily make things which would be a big deal have precedent set for them by this, like how Donald Trump is now just openly wanting to annex Greenland. And that is, did you see Stephen Miller's fucking spiel that he had with Jake Tapper? Oh my God, TJ. That's the concerning part to me. We're like, oh, I'm not concerned enough about this because I'm terrified of where this line of reasoning is headed.
To your statement about was anyone killed, I saw something the day after that showed like this apartment, some 80-year-old woman was killed during the bombings.
Okay,
And
I hadn't. This is news to me. I hadn't heard about this.
And
So, yeah,
but
I am
that's the
sad
only
about
thing
that.
I had heard, and I just like New York Times says that a Venezuelan official reported that 40 people died in the attack. I don't know. I mean, like these fog of war things, like immediately afterward, it's hard to know.
It's
one way
weird
or
we
the
don't
other.
have more now. Like in the immediate aftermath, usually in the immediate aftermath events like this, I'm like, I'm not even going to look at numbers. It's all fog of war. I have no clue. But the fact I haven't seen more reporting on it is
Yeah.
also concerning, to be perfectly honest with you, DJ. It's concerning that
Well,
we haven't seen more reporting on that.
well, when you saw the video, I mean, there were like half a dozen bombs at least that went off, and they looked pretty large. I'd be shocked if nobody died. I mean, like they didn't drop those in the middle of the
Or I
field.
mean, like, so I guess, like, if soldiers die, they're also people, I guess, but like, there is a distinct difference between we struck a military target and military personnel died, and grandma sitting in their apartment died. Like, there's a distinct difference there.
There is a difference, except that this would have been like a military strike that's unprovoked. Like
Unprovoked.
out of
Yeah.
nowhere, it's like a Pearl Harbor type thing that you just showed up and started dropping bombs and then kidnapped someone. Plus, Trump's logic doesn't make any sense with this. Like, it doesn't make any sense at all. That what is the reason that they give for this extraction, this kidnapping of Nicolas Maduro? The primary one they put forward is we need to stop the drug trafficking, the fentanyl. Dear God, will someone think of the fentanyl that's killing all these people? And that's why we're bombing the boats. And then reports have come out that's been for years saying that yeah, pretty much no fentanyl comes
Yeah.
from Venezuela. It's not a thing. They lean heavily on it, and then they backtrack to well, Maduro actually has a warrant out. Like the U.S. government has a warrant out for his drug trafficking, and you're like, okay, all right, that's a thing. But number one, the the president of the United States just pardoned another Latin American leader for drug trafficking, 500 tons of cocaine or something like that. He doesn't seem to have a big problem with it. Second, yeah, you got a warrant for someone. We also have one for Benjamin Netanyahu. I haven't seen anyone. Or we don't have it, but the International Criminal Court does.
It exists.
Yeah, it exists. Like there's one out there. And what was his Gage on from the Head in the Office podcast made a great.
Mhm.
Oh, the Head in the Office podcast made a great point on this. That yeah, you have a warrant for his arrest in the United States. A county sheriff can't just go into another county and arrest somebody if they're not in their jurisdiction. What makes you think the United States can just show up in another country and take someone away? None of it makes any sense at all. In the Greenland thing, what? Oh yeah, I'm sorry, I didn't finish the oil. Then Trump just comes out. This is
So
the
many levels of this, TJ. There's
this
so many levels of this. We're gonna have to have this is gonna be just our general take discussion where we talk about it. Thursday, we're gonna have a much more structured discussion breaking down each part of this.
the oil part that
Mhm.
Trump just comes out. I miss the good old days when politicians would use subterfuge and deceit and distraction to make us think that we're doing something noble and just. But Trump just comes out and says, "No, we want the oil. Like there's tons of oil there, and we're gonna take it." And it's like, all right, what do you want me to say about this? Well, what am I supposed to say when he's just stating, even if that's not the reason, the fact that he thinks he can just say it out loud and get away with it, which he can, doesn't speak well for us.
Yeah, that is the scary part because if they can do this with Venezuela again, a year ago, if we rewind the clock a year, no one could have predicted this. It is a conflict completely fabricated by the Trump administration. No one, even us, TJ, who like very closely follow Donald Trump and are usually pretty good at guessing what he's going to do. Obviously, he does batshit stuff that no one can guess, but like policy wise, it's usually pretty clear. And this came out of nowhere. It's just like, oh, Venezuela, he's fighting them. And then it's like they keep saying this has been going on since his first administration. And you look back and it's like, oh yeah, actually he has had this beef. It just wasn't a thing that anyone thought would happen into a military conflict where we're taking out the leader of a sovereign nation. And that's scary. If he can do this with Venezuela, he can do this anywhere. And honestly, TJ, there's not much stopping him. To address one of the comments, well, actually, first, I just have to. Oh, wait, I can't put things up.
Yeah, which one do you want me to?
Can you put up Colby's first comment? Colby's first comment is already a contender for comment of the year. Can't believe we're in 1AK now after Kirk. Happy New Year's, gentlemen. Fantastic. A plus, Colby. You deserve a gold star today. But also, Prontaber, we're going to call you Prontaber. He says, honestly, I'm impressed that the Trump administration can actually pull this off. And I have to agree with that. This was actually, like, as much as this is scary and dangerous, kind of cool. Like, I didn't, like, it is a pretty badass thing to just take out a rival head of state in a few hour operation completely by surprise. Like, that's impressive. That is a high level of execution from the U.S. military. One which I believe Zelensky had a tweet. I don't know if he actually said this, but he was like, well, since the U.S. has proven that they can easily take out a dictator if they want to, it's kind of wild that this, like, did this surprise you, the level of execution on this operation?
Okay. Yes, but there's a yes, but here. And you guys know me. I am first in line to shit on conspiracy theories every chance I get. But I had to think about this in that it is weird. Like it is weird how clean I haven't seen the Trump administration execute anything that
Yeah.
efficiently.
Again, they invited a journalist to a Signal chat. These guys are not the most detail-oriented group of people.
I saw. So you remember when Trump was indicted last year, and I think we talked about on the show that federal indictments are air fucking tight.
Yeah.
Federal indictments it was like a 0.5%, or not like a 99.5% success rate in getting a conviction or a plea deal because they're so good. They got their ducks in a row. Since Trump has been in office since January, like last year, it's down to 80% because the Trump administration just does sloppy work. They're shoddy. They're whoever they had against James Comey and lying about this is a constant thing of the Trump administration. So Trump directing a military operation like this, or having people do it, it's just I've never seen anything like it. I can't think of another example.
It's the last part, the last piece of governance that I want the Trump administration to be exceedingly competent at is the use of military force, and yet they somehow did it. This is. I hate to give Trump flowers again. I'm so against everything that he did here, but just like it's like when you're rooting against a team and you have to be like, tip your cap, good job. I did not like what you did. I don't like the results of what you did, but the way you did it, well done.
This is the same military that did the Signal chat, right? So I thought that is weird. That is amazing how cleanly this went. And I think Colby wrote here that he saw it too. No U.S. soldiers, but like 40 people in Venezuela, mix of Venezuelan citizens and Maduro bodyguards died and everything. And so, look, I mean, I'm not saying that's good, but if you're talking about a military operation, that is clean as it fucking gets. You have no casualties.
And take out a head of state. Just take the king right away.
Gone.
Just, boom.
I don't even know how the operation went. I'd actually love to know the details, but this is where the conspiracy part comes in. I actually heard this from a Trump supporter, and then I started thinking about it, and then I saw some more pictures that made me think maybe this is the case. And a Trump supporter said that I think that Maduro made a deal with President Trump to extricate himself from the situation, and that in exchange Maduro is going to turn over all the evidence that Venezuela got Joe Biden elected in 2020. Absurd. That part's insane. But Maduro cutting some kind of deal with Trump to get out of the situation, I thought, and then I saw these pictures, John. These are the pictures after Maduro has been captured. He looks incredibly chill. He's doing thumbs up. There's more pictures like this. He's hanging out with people. I can't imagine another situation when someone is kidnapped by the U.S. government looking this fucking chill. And you see him, he's like hanging out. He's not dancing in the video. That was before. But every video, oh shit. Oh no, I lost John. Well, all right. I was going to say that every video I've seen of Maduro since then, or every picture I've seen, is him chilling, having thumbs up, hanging out with the boys. It doesn't make any sense to me. There's John back. I don't know what happened there, John. Weird. No, but yeah, I was saying I've never seen anything like this where it was such a clean operation, gone. He's in the United States, and every picture he's got a shit-eating grin on. Why? Why is he giving thumbs up? Why is he hanging out with these people? I can't prove it's a conspiracy. I don't know what Maduro would have. Maybe he just wanted out of there, but it makes more sense to me than Trump cleanly executing this operation for no apparent reason. You know what I'm saying?
So this is one of the most interesting storylines of the Trump administration. Because as I said earlier in the show, we typically know how things are going to go, what directions he's going to move, what the general idea behind what's going on. Trump is pretty surface level with his intentions about things. It's actually what's made this entire thing so interesting that he's just straight up, yeah, guys, we're going to take the oil. And we're in control of their government now. Marco Rubio over there. He's now running the country of Venezuela. And then they all kind of walk these things back. But it's like, wait. The president of the United States, like what actually happens, the president of the United States said, we took out a foreign leader. We are now running their country. Our Secretary of State is now their head of government. That's the case. And we're going to take all of their natural resources. And then the next day argue, this was not an act of war. Obviously, we can't do an act of war without congressional approval. This was a law enforcement operation. TJ, how is that? Like, genuinely, people are in my comments being like, this is legal. This isn't an act of war. People, again, who really should know better. And I'm like, this is the most act of war thing we have ever done. Ever. Like it's insane. It is the ultimate act of war to take out a rival head of state and declare you have conquered the country. Like I don't know what more of an act of war you can possibly imagine.
I saw a clip from Gutfeld's show, the number one late night show in the United States. I don't get
It's
it.
so bad, TJ.
It's so bad.
So
Man, it's
bad.
bad.
And hand up, the normal late night shows suck too. They're not very good, but they are leagues beyond what Gutfeld is putting out there.
It's terrible. And there's this lady on the show. I don't know her name, but I saw her arguing with Gutfeld about this. And Gutfeld was stating what you were saying, that these Trump supporters, they said, "Oh, I don't think this is an act of war. I think that this is a police action. It's perfectly fine." And she said, "Greg, that's insane. You can't on one hand say that Nicolas Maduro sending cocaine into the United States that Americans willingly snort is an act of war, but dropping bombs on a foreign country and kidnapping their president is not. That is ridiculous. I just wish people would. These are the same people, by the way, like to the man, like Greg Gutfeld, Pete Hegseth, every conservative back when the bombing of Iran took place, said that this is just to get rid of their nuclear weapons program. We're not going to do something stupid like regime change. They even now that this happened, they're denying that this is a regime change. Have you seen this? Where they say, no, this is
literally said, this isn't regime change. This is demanding a change in what the regime does. Like that is an Onion headline, TJ, and he just spoke it out loud. And people are just like, yep, that makes sense. That's I believe that guy. That doesn't sound fishy at all.
Here it is right here.
Some of these things were discussed in the SCIF. I want to say that the way that this is being described, I think, is accurate. This is not a regime change. This is a demand for change of behavior by a regime.
John, what is happening? It's one of those when you die, you find out that this is all simulation. What would have been some clues like this right here? This cannot be real. There's no way I'm living in this reality where I know politicians have to use double speak. They got to twist their words and everything. What? I can't. I don't know. I just wish people would say, "Yeah, Trump did it, so we like it." And this is all right. This is what it comes down to.
But again, TJ, Trump said we're the regime now. It's not even it. I actually agree with Mike Johnson. It's not regime change. According to Donald Trump, this is a conquered land. Like that is what explicitly Donald Trump is arguing right now.
This is yeah, I'm sure you saw the image of Pete Hegseth and Trump in the Situation Room, and they have just Venezuela typed on Twitter in the background and everything. That it's hard to cover politics these days. Like it's really hard because you say the same things over and over again, and things keep getting more and more absurd. But what people have to realize with the Trump administration, Trump's campaign, honestly, most conservatives right now, is that these people are not politicians anymore. They're social media influencers. That's it. That's all it comes down to. That Trump does something. Trump is a master of getting himself in the news, getting shocking headlines, getting people talking about him because no news. I mean, like there's no such thing as bad publicity. You get up there, people talk about you, you're in the spotlight. And Trump has the charisma and the humor and the affectation and the zany looks to actually get away with this. So everything he does is just to get attention and just to scam and to grift, and that's what all of them do all the way down. Like you mentioned, what's his name? This guy, Stephen Miller. Like you stop this whenever you want
to play this. Is this the
Greenland conversation about if Greenland is
I need us to play this because I have the take on this.
Let's go.
The take didn't go viral, and it should because it's just perfect. But go ahead.
Important topic. The premier of Greenland and the premier of Denmark and other Danish officials are responding to a Twitter post from your wife, Katie Miller, herself a former Trump White House official, showing Greenland covered with an American flag, saying soon. After that was posted, President Trump repeated the claim that the U.S. needs Greenland for national security reasons.
Already insane, I have to add, by the way, that Katie Miller, who was a White House official, she's not just Stephen Miller's wife. She like after Trump has spent months saying that we need to take over Greenland and we're not going to rule out, all options are on the table, to just post that, just say, yeah, Greenland, it should be ours. Not we're negotiating with Denmark to buy it. Nope, it's going to be ours one day. And saying that that's a thing at all. But here we go.
The Danish prime minister responded to this in an interview earlier today, as reported by Bloomberg. Quote, I believe one should take the American president seriously when he says it wants Greenland, but I will also make it clear that if the U.S. chooses to attack another NATO country militarily, then everything stops, including NATO, and thus the security that has been established since the end of the Second World War. Can you rule out that the U.S. is ever going to try to take Greenland by force?
Well, let me go back a step. The president has been clear for months now. So I know you're treating this as breaking news. The president has been clear for months now that the United States should be the nation that has Greenland as part of our overall security apparatus. The United
Right,
States,
but your wife posted that like hours after the Venezuela operation. That's why it's newly relevant.
No, I'm not, I'll talk with you about it for an hour. I think it's a really important conversation. I just wanted to reset, Jake, by making clear that it has been the formal position.
All right, I had to pause here. Sorry, Tom. If you want to pause, let me know. We can cut because this is like a 2.5 minute clip. There'll be a lot to go over or miss. But I know I hate it as much as everyone else when someone is asked a very simple yes or no question and they start saying, well, actually, let me tell you what I want to talk about. And look, if the trick question or the question asked in bad faith, I understand that. But it's pretty simple. We say, hey, are we taking military operations off the table when it comes to acquiring Greenland? And he says something like, well, as I've said many times, well, no, just answer the fucking question. I can't stand that shit, John.
100% agreed, but have more to say later in this clip.
Of the U.S. government since the beginning of this administration, frankly, going back into the previous Trump administration, that Greenland should be part of the United States. The president has been very clear about that. That is the formal position of the U.S. government.
Right, but can you say that military action against Greenland is off the table?
It wouldn't be military action against Greenland. The Greenland has a population of 30,000 people, Jake. The real question is, by what right does Denmark assert control over Greenland? What is the basis of their territorial claim? What is their basis of having Greenland as a colony of Denmark? The United States is the power of NATO. For the United States to secure the Arctic region, to protect and defend NATO and NATO interests, obviously Greenland should be part of the United States. And so that's a conversation that we're going to have as a country. That's a process we're going to have as a community of nations.
So you can't take it off the table that the U.S. would use military force to seize Greenland. You can't take it off the table.
Jake, I understand you're trying very hard to, which again is your job. I respect it. It's great to get exactly the headline, right? That catchy headline.
I'm trying to get an answer to the question.
That says Miller refuses to rule out the United States should have Greenland as part of the United States. There's no need to even think or talk about this in the context that you're asking of a military operation. Nobody's going to fight the United States militarily over the future of Greenland. So
one last question, Stephen.
Doesn't make any sense.
One last question.
Oh, okay, that's it right there. All right, your
thoughts, there's more. That interview is just so it is weird cut off. But TJ, did that exchange remind you of any famous clip from any famous sitcom?
Oh no, which one?
Set in the city of Philadelphia.
Oh no, it's Always Sunny, but I don't know which.
TJ, what Stephen Miller did in that clip was line for line, bar for bar, because of the implication scene from Always Sunny in Philadelphia. He's literally saying, Jake, why are you saying we're going to need to use the military force? Of course we wouldn't use military force. We wouldn't need to use military force because of the implication.
That's true.
That is literally what he's saying. He's like, why? Of course I can't say that because then the implication is what. I'm not going to say they're safe because of the implication. But of course we wouldn't attack them. Why would you bring? That's what he's saying. And honestly, TJ, I've said this for a little while now. As much as Stephen Miller, like, he's the most punchable of the Trump administration. He's the one that, like, if given the opportunity, I would most like to punch in the face. He's also the one I respect the most because he's very upfront and honest. Beyond all of them, he's playing the United States government like it's a game of Civ. And he's like, guys, we have the strongest military. Why are we trying to compete on all this other shit when we can just take land? We can just take it, and they can't do anything about it. And you know what, TJ? I can't sit here and tell you he's wrong. I cannot sit here. Obviously, there's a million moral, ethical dilemmas and concerns and massive problems economically and diplomatically. Like, all of these things are true. But if we just took Greenland, what would happen? I can't imagine it's any different than, I don't know, kidnapping the head of Venezuela. Like nothing happened there. So why not just take Greenland? Why not just take countries while we're at it, TJ? No one is stopping us. He's not wrong.
There is something kind of refreshing about Trump. Trump just wiping away the facade that there's like actual structure and order. Like I've said this plenty of times. I always had to couch the way I say it because people might take it the wrong way. Where I was like, war crimes are not really a thing. I hate saying that out loud, but they're not. Like, war crimes exist to punish like third world countries when they do human rights violations. But if the United States does a war crime, nothing's gonna happen to us. If China or Russia does a war crime. Yeah, I was like, nothing happens. It's not a real thing. It's real if you lose. If you lose, then you will be charged for human rights violations. And
if anything, it increases your desire to continue the war and keep fighting. Because if you lose, you're fucked. So if you're going to commit war crimes, you might as well commit all the way.
And like the darker side of this that I talk about with the war crime thing is that, yeah, if bombing a hospital or something it's you're not supposed to do that. That's illegal. If you thought that your society was going to be wiped out, that your family, friends, and loved ones were all going to die, why wouldn't you bomb the hospital? It would be insane not to. Like, I'm going to let these people nurse themselves back to health so they can try to shoot me tomorrow? That's insane. It doesn't make any sense. So, yeah, but Trump, he kind of takes that below. It's like, or Stephen Miller saying, yeah, we're a superpower. We get to do what we want to do. Like with Bush trying to justify it somehow, that was a waste of time. Why bother doing it? What bothers me about Stephen Miller is that he talks like he has spit in his mouth. I can't stand listening to him talk. It's just like, and he's
the most punchable of them all. Like he's a repulsive human being, but I respect his honesty.
I got you too. And so about the superpower thing, I think this is the clip that you were talking about. If I got this right here, let me go.
The United States is using its military to secure our interests unapologetically in our hemisphere. We're a superpower, and under President Trump, we are going to conduct ourselves as a superpower. It is absurd that we would allow a nation in our own backyard to become the supplier of resources to our adversaries, but not to us, to hoard weapons from our adversaries, to be able to be positioned as an asset against the United States rather than on behalf of the United States.
Sovereign countries shouldn't be able to do what they want to do.
The Monroe Doctrine and the Trump Doctrine is all about securing the national interests of America. For years, we sent our soldiers to die in deserts in the Middle East to try to build them parliaments, to try to build them democracies, to try to give them more oil, to try to give them more resources. The future of the free world, Jake, depends on America being able to assert ourselves and our interests without apology. This whole period that happened after World War II, where the West began apologizing and groveling and begging
I don't even
and
know,
engaging these
honestly,
vast
what you're talking about
schemes,
right now.
What I'm talking about, Jake, is the idea, and by the way, I know you love doing that smarmy thing, Jake, and I was hoping to be better than that this time.
I asked you about if there should be an election. I asked you if there would be an election in Venezuela. That's what I asked. I said, why was the president so quick to dismiss Machado? You answered that question. And then I said,
the objective, Jake, is security and stability for the people of Venezuela. With our help and leadership, that country will become more prosperous than it has ever been in its whole history. Venezuelans
but the woman running Venezuela right now is part of the Maduro regime.
There will be conversations, Jake, about all of these guideposts along the way. The reason why I was giving you that speech, which I know you didn't want to hear, is because you're approaching this from the wrong frame. This neoliberal frame that the United States' job is to go around the world and demanding immediate elections to be held everywhere, immediately, all the time, right away. To create these vacuums.
That's not what I think, but you invaded the country. Went into the country and we seized the leader of Venezuela.
Damn straight we did.
And I'm saying,
we're not going to let.
So is the U.S. going to have new elections?
Jake, is that we're not going to let Tim Pot communist dictators send rapists into our country, send drugs into our country, send weapons into our country.
Okay.
And we're not going to let a country fall into the hands of our adversaries.
Okay, John, before I get your take on this, I ask this all the time. Why do they bother doing these interviews? I don't understand why.
Why does the Trump administration?
Yes. No,
Oh, I
no.
can
Why
answer
does
that very
why
clearly.
does Jake Tapper
Why
bother
does Jake
doing?
Tapper? Okay.
No
Finish your
idea.
thought, because I have
Yeah.
a very pointed opinion of Jake Tapper in this interview.
I don't know why anyone ever bothers interviewing Kash Patel or Stephen Miller, Pam Bondi. It's the same shit over and over again, and they've dropped the pretense, they've dropped the facade, they've dropped the euphemisms. It's like, yeah, we invaded them, and it would be ridiculous for us to go around demanding elections, but it's not ridiculous to just kidnap the head of state and not pontificate on how this is going to take control. Have 5 or 6 different explanations from our head of state of why it happened. No real recourse set up here. Why do I need to hear that? If they want to do a press conference, fine, but bringing them on to talk about it, I see as just a colossal waste of time. But what was your point of thought on it?
Yeah, Jake Tapper in that interview was a complete failure of a fucking journalist. And I understand that that's nothing new for Jake motherfucking Tapper, but he's literally, like, the way he treated that interview is as if he was talking to you or me, as if he was talking to some random guy online. He conducted himself with less professionalism and urgency in that interview than I conduct myself when talking with fucking random MAGA weirdos online. He's talking to, what, I forget his official fucking title, but the head of foreign policy motherfucker in the White House. And that person is telling him on live television, guys, the neoliberal world order doesn't mean anything. There are no other sovereign countries, at least in the Western Hemisphere. There is the U.S. and a bunch of our vassal states, and we will use military force to enforce that world order. And he's saying that straight to Jake Tapper's face. And Jake Tapper's just like, what are you talking about, bro? It's like, Jake, you can't just treat this with the schmarmy shrug. Like, I'm actually glad Stephen Miller called out his schmarminess there, because it was fucking insulting to what is happening before our eyes. Like, that is a terrifying fucking speech. That is the kind of speech that you watch back later in the future in the fucking History Channel and be like, oh, wow, that guy, he was fucking evil. And he's saying it to your face from a position of power to enact his evil after having just enacted part of it. And you're just treating it like, well, this is just them thumping their chest. Bro, no, it's not. And I don't know when they're going to fucking realize that.
But what if they do, though? I mean, if he does realize it, he'll be more antagonist. I guess that would be fun to watch, I suppose. But
yes, he should be more antagonist. Like, when during that interview, Jake Tapper had a fucking ounce of backbone or spine, any fucking respect for himself as a journalist. He would not just be first of all, he wouldn't platform him if that was his plan. And second of all, he would hit him hard. He wouldn't have this like buddy approach. He would be like I would be like, fuck you, Steve. Like this is, it needs to be met with the aggression that it deserves. Yes. And by treating it as if it should be normal or accepted in any way, you are complicit in whitewashing this fucking agenda. That's the thing, Jake. That's what you just did. You did not change any minds. You did not report on the news. You did not deliver anything to anyone other than, oh, well, this is normal now, and we're going to treat these people like they're normal. No, you can't fucking do that. And TJ, you're right. Yeah, I'd probably get Jake Tapper in a lot of fucking hot shit if he did that. But like, someone's got to do it first. Someone's got to do it first, and then someone's got to do it second, or someone's going to do it third before it's too late. And we're getting like,
it is.
The heat in this pot is rising, TJ. It's rising.
I think it is far beyond too late. I don't know genuinely how we come back from this. And this is just one. I'm just like the Venezuela thing. It's not even in the top 5. I think of things that the destruction of our institutions, the constant demonization of people. It just gets worse over time. The destruction of our our social safety nets just all up with everything, and then that's just the government, right? Not we haven't even talked about how society itself is collapsing all around. Is that every bit of technology we have is awful. There is like we're centralizing in what we do. We all go to the same 5 apps every day. We don't have websites anymore. Everything is an app. You go to go buy something, they ask for your phone number or your email and their app and everything. Everyone is in debt. No one can buy a house. Like nothing is trending upward. And the politicians being social media influencers and not really care about anything. I forgot about this until just now. And I was asking why people even bother talking to these folks. Did you see Lindsey Graham? I don't even know what show on Fox News when he did this.
They've chosen not to live this way anymore. And unlike Obama, President Trump has not turned his back on the people of Iran. So I pray and hope that 2026 will be the year that we make Iran great again.
I don't know if you guys can see it there, but he's wearing a hat that says "Make Iran Great Again." By the way, this is in the context of an interview about Venezuela, and then he brings up, it's like, well, just so you know, Iran, and Trump is saying that what Colombia, their president needs to watch his ass too, and it's like none of this is serious. I mean, it is serious for people out there, like lives are being lost and wars are being started, but it's not serious to the politicians. It's all a big joke. It's a big fucking game to them. So if Jake Tapper wants to go harder on him, he should, but we're still in for, like, Trump has been in office 1 year. Not even a year. Like, we're still a couple weeks short of it being 1 year. Today's the anniversary of January 6th, and John and I say this all the time. The most successful political action I have seen in my life is January 6th. January 6th, incredible how successful that was. And those are the folks who are running the country. The insane lunatics on January 6th have fucking won, and they're going to keep winning. Even if they lose, like even if Trump wins or loses these elections in 2026, if the Republicans lose in 2028, the damage they've done is going to last the rest of our lives. Mine, certainly. Hopefully not John's, but it's over. I think it's all done.
I love the self-pointed old joke there, TJ.
It was honestly, not a joke. Not a joke. Like I really, like, if I live another 40 years, that'll be good. And you could live 50. Maybe you'll get to see something better. But I don't know.
I have Trump has moved me closer to the tankies than I've ever been. Not that like they're crazy shit, but just like, yeah, maybe like force is the only way to fix shit because we're just that far gone. And it's hard to disprove when this is the results we're seeing before our eyes. It's insanity. We do not live in a shared reality anymore. It's so frustrating. It's why I struggle to do this. Like, I just feel like a crazy person. Like making content, I genuinely feel like I'm a crazy person. And there's only 2 reasons I'm doing it anymore. 1, because I have this like sunk cost fallacy with it, and 2, because it's the only way I know how to stay sane. Like I've tried, like I legitimately tried to be like, okay, I'm going to take the whole time off, like Christmas and New Year's. I'm going to take it off. Couldn't do it. I had to go on there and say some shit. Like I need this ventilation system, but like, my God, is it fucking what am I supposed to say? One side is saying, hey guys, remember that thing that we did back in 2003 that we all agreed was really stupid and dumb and we should never do it again? Remember, we all agreed on that. Like 90% of us agreed on that back in 2015. We're going to do it again in an even dumber way with even less pretext. And yeah, but we're right back there. We're right back. Nothing changed. I don't know, TJ. I don't know how it gets better. I don't know.
John, I wish I had the clip in front of me. I don't have. I saw it earlier and I meant to pull it up, but hold on. Let me see if I found it here. Nope. But the day after, or 2 days after the Venezuela military action, I saw a poll, and it said that 39% of Americans supported Donald Trump's action in Venezuela. And I was like, I remember seeing it, but I couldn't remember where it was from. And so I just ran across another clip today that I didn't save on Twitter like I should have, but it was on CNN. And you guys know who I'm talking about. I don't know the guy's name, but he does like the polls, and he's got the big screen. He's always moving it around and everything. He's really funny. But it showed that the day before the action, the kidnapping of Maduro, CNN had a poll out saying, what percentage of Americans support military action in Venezuela? And I think it was 21% or 22%. Yeah, it was 22%, I'm pretty sure. The day after Trump did it, 37%. And so I look at that and said, all right, this is like, yeah, I feel it too. It's just kind of a fucking waste of time. We can talk about it all we want, but Trump has such a stranglehold on these folks that he can do anything and they're going to support it. You're always going to have, I was like, man, almost 4 out of 10 people, like shockingly close to half the country said, oh yeah, that makes perfect sense. It's perfectly okay. I think that this is fine. I don't know. Like, I don't know what to do either. It's hard. I have a much harder time talking about it. I look forward today. I was like, man, I haven't talked to John in a while. That's going to be really the cathartic part of it is good for me. But I hate to say it, but you said it last month, John. You put it perfectly that I've kind of given up on the idea of being part of some sort of movement of something. Getting back to 2010, the United States of America would be an incredible win. Would be an incredible win. Back when we knew things were shitty, but we didn't know how good we had it. And yeah, I don't know what to say.
No, you're right, TJ. Like I if something comes along, if something changes, I'm fully willing to be inspired, guys. Like let's not get this twisted. I would love nothing more than to regain the hunger and passion that I had even a year and a half ago. But it's just drained, sapped, gone. Part of it is just the insanity of what you just said. Suddenly half the country supports taking out. Like, that can't be real. I cannot. How can I fucking talk to people who not only will sit there and tell me, yeah, guys, it's totally just like cops, we're just like enforcing the law and arresting drug dealers. What's your are you a fucking pro dictator now? And they'll say it with, you can't tell the difference between when they believe it and when they don't believe it, because they didn't believe it. Like, we see the polling data, it changed, fucking changed, guys, and nothing else changed other than Donald Trump went and did it. Yeah. It's the only fucking thing that changed.
You know how freeing it must be to live your life devoid of principles. I can't imagine.
I think about it all the time, TJ. I think about it all the time.
Yeah, it's like and this goes beyond the United States government or the incompetence that we see on the highest levels. But I was thinking about social media in general. I've been stuck on this, the politicians being social media influencers, because once you see it, you can't unsee it. Like, it's all that's happening now, and that specifically in media, there is a high premium on being, shocking and acerbic, and being like, cruelty is rewarded or insanity is rewarded. Candace Owens is a really good speaker. She's smart. She weaves together a good story, but she has no scruples. She will just, go down the rabbit hole on starting like unnecessary fights with the president of France, calling his wife a trans person, saying that Erica Kirk, who we have no love for here, assassinated her husband. Shit. Insane stuff, but there's a big market for that. That's where we get the Alex Jones, and to a lesser extent, Tucker Carlson, who might actually be like a principled fascist. I'm more likely to believe that or something. But we reward this. And so we're not only seeing it in politics, but we're seeing it in our day-to-day lives, that people are getting really sick and tired of not having any hope of getting anywhere in life. And when scamming and grifting is the number one way to succeed, of course, people are going to start scamming and grifting, which is going to break apart social fabric. I hate to be the Jordan Peterson guy here, but some sort of common bond with your fellow man is important for our survival. And I feel like it's crumbling day after day, and I don't see it getting any better.
100% true, TJ. And it's very weird because I don't feel that crumbling in real life. I think it's one of the reasons I've wanted to make content less, is because in real life, I'm very blessed with a rich community of friends and family who are good people and I enjoy being with. But even just like random people I meet in this court, you would not think, walking around the United States of America, at least in the places I live, that like we are some hyper bipolarized, ready to explode into a civil war at any moment country. You wouldn't. People in Iraq, like normal, you don't see any of the things that exist in the history book, signals of a collapsing society. You don't see it. And yet you look at social media and I don't mean to say this is like a social media thing. This is things that are actually fucking happening. This is what the government is actually doing, but it's acting like it's in utter collapse, or like that there's this, like, it's what the Trump says. It's what they say. They're like, we are being invaded. This is a fight, existential fight for our existence. Again, this is not me exaggerating. These are the things that the Stephen Millers of the world say. He literally said it in that clip from Jay Tapper earlier. This is a fight for Western civilization. This is a fight for the world order. And it's like, no, it's not. It's not that. If Maduro had stayed in Venezuela for the rest of the Trump term and they never said anything about it, no one would be looking back in 4 years being like, oh, well, the world order is destabilized by fucking Venezuela. No, that's not what's happening. And it's a very odd dichotomy between what does exist in real life, where there's problems in this country, there's suffering, there's whatever. Like I'm not saying things are perfect, but I don't feel much different walking around in 2026 than I did in 2024, in 2020, in 2016, ever. Like, it just doesn't feel that way, and yet everything indicates to me that it is. It's a very. Do you feel the same way, TJ? Do you feel this experience?
I think that online, yeah, the acrimony online is a lot worse than day-to-day life. You don't see people arguing about politics in the streets. You don't see. I don't think, I would never suggest that like a hot civil war is going to happen in the country. I don't think the logistics work out for that. It's not.
I've always been like, that's impossible.
I think so. Yeah.
There could be a war. There could be a real fucking war, TJ. Like, suddenly, before this, I was like, no, we're going to get through this. We're not going to get through this without an actual real life motherfucking war. Like, it's very possible now.
I guess it's possible. I just don't know how it would work. It's just like, it's because of
I would have said that about just capturing fucking Maduro like a month ago, TJ.
Right. But I mean, no, really though, like, what would it look like? Like, how would it start? First off, I don't know. But anyway,
we just take Greenland. We start fucking taking. Denmark says no. We conduct some sort of military strike. There's some I can't even fathom that existence.
I'm sorry, I misunderstood you. I thought you meant like a war amongst Americans shooting Americans, like that.
Well, I'm saying, okay, but then that happens. Trump actually gets us into a war with European allies. That's going to spill over into the streets. You know, that's not going to just be all right with everyone. We're not going to keep going. Well, maybe we will, TJ. Maybe we will. I don't know.
I 100% think we would. I think, because like, let's say Trump does start a war with Denmark. Like Pronteber, is that how we pronounce your name? I didn't get your name wrong, buddy. But he said Stephen Miller basically stated, if we can't have Greenland, why does Denmark get it? Hilarious, because he said, well, what is Denmark's territorial claim to Greenland? As if you couldn't just look it up. As if you couldn't just check, oh, why does Denmark own Greenland? Does it possibly date back to, I don't know, the Napoleonic Wars and Denmark and like Sweden or Norway ceding it over to Denmark and for 200 years ago? Yeah, okay, maybe you have a problem with that claim, but yeah, what does that do with the United States? Like, what does that do with, so therefore why
the hell would we possibly have any claim to Greenland?
If you want to make an argument it should belong to Norway, okay, go for it.
You can have that. You can have that argument with the other guy that cares about that.
Yeah, you're the one person. But yeah, it's if the United States decided to go to war with Denmark to get Greenland, I think the same thing that would happen if any other war had a lot of people get mad, a lot of people would protest. I mean, I'm not shooting anybody over it. I'm not going to go in the street and actually risk my life and my family over this war to get Greenland. And the weird thing too, if Trump just went out and said, I'm open to negotiating with Denmark to try to get Greenland. I'm going to offer them everything I can. You wouldn't need to. They're an allied nation anyway. Like the military alliance stuff kind of protects you from that. Mark put out something here where he said, guys, people supported the invasion because it was quick and bloodless. No boots on the ground. Y'all missed the point. I agree. But that kind of backs up what we're saying, that there's no principle there. Like, is the principle, I don't want Americans to die? If that's the number one principle, okay, but that's not what they say. There's like, I don't want regime change. I don't want any wars. I don't want any intervention in foreign nations. That's what we've all been told all this time. But the Iraq war was only bad because Americans died, not because it destabilized the Middle East, nothing like that, because we don't care about that. If we find out that removing Maduro and keeping his regime there collapses their government, collapses their economy even further, destabilizes like that section of South America. No one's gonna give a fuck about that. But that's what our point. That what are your principles here? Are your first principle? I just don't want American troops. I don't want our boys to be injured. Okay, but that's kind of living principle free in my mind too. What do you think, John?
And Mark is right. Like that statement, people supported first of all, they didn't support the invasion. They didn't support it until after it happened.
Until after it happened, yep.
You can point to no evidence before it happened that people would have supported that invasion. Like we did these polls, right? Second of all, it wasn't bloodless. It was quick, 100%. It wasn't bloodless. People died, so not bloodless. No boots on the ground. That's not true. Boots were on the ground. You just called it an invasion because we put boots on the ground. We didn't invade with like a whole troop, a whole battalion, but there were American soldiers in Venezuela on the ground. And you're right. That's why people aren't giving too much of a shit about it, because from our perspective, nothing really happened. But what Donald Trump is saying is the current status quo is that we now own Venezuela. I can't, like, people are talking about this as if what Mike Johnson is saying of like, oh, well, it's not this, it's not that. What Donald Trump explicitly said was, we are now in control of Venezuela. Venezuela is now a vassal state of the United States of America. We own that shit. We are going to send in American companies and extract their oil because we can. And then Stephen Miller went on fucking CNN and said, yeah, that's what we're fucking doing. And then Mark's next comment, he says, obviously you guys not read the Wall Street Journal. Rubio said that to Republicans that Trump just wants to buy Greenland and is talking tough. Relax, guys. He also said we wouldn't strike Venezuela a couple months ago. So I don't know why that should fucking not worry me. But even if you're like, oh, he's just talking tough, I don't want my president talking tough to our allies. I don't want my boy threatening my buddies. Like, I don't understand why the fuck that's okay.
John, you don't understand. When it comes to Donald Trump, his words talk louder than his actions, apparently. Apparently, what he says really, yeah, I don't know. It's just,
but his words, again, he's like, Mark, this is why, like, I'm frustrated by you and people in general, because you're both taking the words and the actions and just saying, each one matters when I care about it. If we are just taking Donald Trump's current words, it is that we now own Venezuela. We did a coup. We took control and conquered a foreign nation, a sovereign state. We conquered them. Our head of state, our fucking Secretary of State is now the most important government official in Venezuela. That is what Donald motherfucking Trump said. So if we're taking what he said, that is really fucking bad and concerning. If we take it what he did, maybe made a deal to fucking like bring Maduro to the United States.
That's the best case scenario. That is the best case scenario.
And like that's why people don't care about it. Okay, cool. Like that's fine. But then you can't have both. You cannot have both. One has to be true. One has to matter.
I want to get to Colby here. Colby said, favorite U.S. territory liberals don't want us to have. That would be a good tier list. I think that would be pretty fun. Honestly, the answer should be all of them. We should have no territories. Make them states or not. That's how I feel about that. That is, yeah, it's kind of ridiculous. Like this, it's holdover from colonial times. And one more from Mark. He says, no, Trump always is the same. Watch his actions, ignore his words. His actions were he just invaded a foreign country and kidnapped their leader. So, I mean, I don't know. I don't know.
He committed an act of war.
Yeah, that's a pretty big action right there.
Out of the country and is holding him captive with no legal presence. The United States of America has no legal authority to enforce American laws in Venezuela. We cannot do that. If I was being investigated for drug trafficking and I went to another country and they airstruck the fucking country and sent the fucking army in to capture me, that would not be okay. And that's an American citizen. We're talking about a head of motherfucking Mark. If Venezuela
I don't know.
had
Mark
a
is
warrant
fucking
out for Donald Trump's arrest and they fucking airstruck Washington, D.C., sent in troops, kidnapped Donald Trump, and brought him to Venezuela, would you not think that's an act of war? Would you think that's just a totally okay law enforcement operation for the country of Venezuela? No, you fucking wouldn't. And I'm really like, I understand I'm heated here. I like you, Mark, but like, what the fuck?
Well, John, that's different because Venezuela is bad and Donald Trump is good. So, that's the
thing you're talking about the principles. Again, it's might equals right. That's why I like Stephen Miller. He's just like, yeah, we can do it because we're stronger. We're stronger, and therefore that's why we have control. There is no other principle. That's all that matters. I don't think we played the clip actually where he said that, but he said that. He was like, We're the strongest here. Why would we bother listening to these other fucking countries? They don't matter. This is a world of power. That's all that matters, and that I can fucking respect. What I can't
at least
respect
it's
is
honest. At least it's
oh,
honest.
guys, this is a totally okay, justifiable police action. Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah. The American empire means the entire world is apparently subject to U.S. law. Yeah, that's essentially. I mean, we have been behaving that way a lot, but at least there's been some kind of some foresight that you can't just keep acting unilaterally like this and not expect things to bite you in the ass later. Trump does not care about the institutions, the state of the country, or even the Republican Party, honestly. Like Trump has I think Trump has tanked the Republican Party for whenever he leaves office, but we'll have to see. But all right, we ran a little bit over.
A little bit over. Just to address Mark's last comment. Yes, John, the strong do what they will, the poor suffer what they must. Yeah, but they don't have to. Like, we as the strong should choose to not do that. That is like base human morality. Do unto others what they will do unto you. Like, you're a fucking Christian, Mark, right? Like, am I fucking crazy here? Like, that's bad. That's just bad behavior.
Mark has got to be fucking with us.
He's got to be fucking with me.
I don't believe
this. I hope he's fucking with me.
Yes, the strong do what they want. The poor will suffer. Yeah, like survival of the fittest, like is descriptive, not prescriptive. I think. Yeah. I don't know. Like that's the reason society exists, right? Like, fuck it. I don't know. All right, John. Any last thoughts? We'll cover most of this.
Mark, I am stronger than you, therefore I can beat the shit out of you and kill you if I want. Like, is that really the principle?
It makes it okay. It makes it okay.
That would be okay because I can.
Yeah.
You know, like.
Saying that it happened is different than saying it happened and I support it. I think I don't know what's tricky about that, but all right. Thursday, we'll be meeting again Thursday, right, John?
Thursday, yes. We don't have a guest this week. I got to get back on the guest wagon, but we'll be meeting again 6:35 EST on Thursday for our regular Thursday show, which will be more structured than this one. But I actually enjoyed this one a decent amount. I got to that. So thank you guys. See you then.
We'll catch you guys later.